Hey friends, welcome back to She's At It Again. My name's Tanya, and today I want to share with you a recipe that we almost never go without having in our refrigerator. And that is a taco sauce that, of course, when you serve tacos, you're going to need something to squeeze over the meat, cheese, lettuce, anything you want to put on it, but it just gives it that extra flavor. This is called Taco Bell mild sauce. You can't even wonder what that is. It is straight from the flavor of Taco Bell. It tastes just like the Taco Bell sauce they serve from those little blister packs that have the cute little sayings on them, but you're going to store it in a squeeze bottle or a jar in your refrigerator. And you don't have to go to Taco Bell to the drive-thru and beg for little packets of it. So I found this recipe years ago, and ever since then, we've never been without it. And we've even had guests at our house that said, where did you get this? Because I think I might have seen this being sold in stores at one time. I don't know if they still sell it because I don't really look in that section. But simple ingredients. I mean, I cannot even tell you how easy this is. No specialty items, just stuff you probably already have in your refrigerator or, well, in your pantry. None of this is refrigerated until you make this. So what we're going to start out with is 2 teaspoons of cornstarch. Now, I can buy organic cornstarch, but it's a little hard to find, and I don't find it on a regular basis. So this is your next best thing. This is a Rumford brand, non-GMO cornstarch. If you don't buy something that says non-GMO, chances are it is genetically modified. Just throwing that out there for those who are concerned about it. It's a concern of mine, so I just avoid it. We're going to use 2 teaspoons of cornstarch. Put that in there first, because if you add the cornstarch to your water instead of adding the water to the cornstarch, it floats around and kind of gets lumpy dumpy, so you don't want that to happen. To that, we're going to add 3 cups of water. Add just a little bit at a time and get your cornstarch dissolved a bit. And just pour the rest of it in there. Easy enough. We're going to add a can of tomato paste. This is a 6-ounce can. I already opened it with the can opener before I turn the camera on. And I buy organic tomato paste. If you are concerned about sugar content at all, then by all means check and see if yours has any. Sometimes they have added sugar and sometimes they don't. And it really just depends on the brand. And sometimes brands can change up. They'll have sugar in them one time, and one time, the next time you buy them, they won't. So don't think that just because they have it in there one time, it's not going to be in there the next time. Sometimes I've gone and bought products and I'll notice the label, or I used to do this years ago. Actually, I read the labels on everything almost every time now just to make sure it still is the same product. But I'd be just sailing along buying a product and somebody would mention that something has an ingredient in it, and I'd think, that's never had that in there before. I've read that label, it doesn't have it. Sure enough, it'll have it. So companies will slide that in. I guess they don't send out news reports saying that they're fixing to start using something else or something added, but if they find a more financially advantageous ingredient to use, they will certainly normally take that route. So just be aware. Okay, we're going to heat this up on the stove top so it doesn't have to be all completely mixed in right now. Because once it heats up, it'll start getting more incorporated. All right, after the tomato paste, we're going to add 3 tablespoons of white vinegar. This is just plain old white vinegar. I think I keep refilling this jar, or this bottle, from a big gallon jar of it that I also use in my laundry room. So 3 tablespoons. Now you can easily turn this into the Taco Bell hot sauce. I guess they make a hot sauce. I don't even know. But I'm guessing you can turn it into hot sauce by adding more cayenne pepper to it, but I wouldn't have any idea how much. So this is just the mild version. To that, we're going to add 4 teaspoons of chili powder. And this is just organic chili powder. I may have saved this bottle and just keep buying it in the bulk form at our natural food store or Good Measure Market here in town. These bottles just fit so nicely in my drawer. Okay, 4 teaspoons of chili powder. 2 teaspoons of salt. And I used Himalayan pink salt. This is not processed, it's not bleached, it just comes straight from the ground. And a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. And like I said, if you want a spicier version, you could always add more, or maybe some red chili flakes, but I just wouldn't have any idea how much to add. You can experiment with it if you want something hotter. Okay, so 1 teaspoon of that. So we're going to stir this all together. And right now, it's just super runny and lumpy, but we're going to heat it up, and then I'll let you take a look at it once we get it heated up. All right, I want you to see what we're starting out with. I've stirred this up. This is just our mixture of everything together. And what we're wanting to do is go from this liquidy stage, super watery. I mean, it's just runny because it has 3 cups of water in it. Not a lot of dry ingredients. So we're going to go from this. We want it to be thick like this. Now here's my indicator. I don't know if you can even tell how thick this is. You could feel it if you had this whisk in your hand like I do. But here's my indicator. I'm going to stir this quickly, and then watch when I stop stirring. It's not just going to stop, but it's going to kind of bounce back. Did you see it go back a little bit? So I'm going to do that again so you can get a look at it. This is how I base my thickness when I make homemade ice cream too. So it's going to go, and then it's going to bounce back just a little bit, almost like it has some elasticity to it. So this is not going to be a super thick sauce. I mean, you know what Taco Bell mild sauce looks like when it comes out of those little packages. So we just want it thick enough to be able to stick to things instead of being so runny like water. I'll let this cook a little bit more, but what you don't want to do is overcook this, because cornstarch has a thickening capability that is achieved when it gets to a certain temperature, a certain heat. But once you pass that and you overcook it, then it loses that thickening capability and it just turns watery again. Unlike flour or things like that. Now you could use flour in this, but this recipe does not call for flour, it calls for cornstarch. It doesn't add a flavor to it, it just adds that thickening capability to it. Just enough to where it gives a little bit of body. It's not just super runny like water. So, show you again. Stir, and then it bounces back. So we're going to cook this just a tiny bit more, let it thicken up just a tiny bit more, and then what I'm going to do is let it cool off, and it'll take several hours, and then we're going to put it in a jar to put in the refrigerator, and we'll come back and I'll show you that process. Okay, we have Zoe looking around the corner at us. Hey Zoe. We're going to pour up our Taco Bell sauce into our jar, and hoping I don't make a big mess, which is pretty easy to do. Okay, it all fits in a 1 quart jar, and then as you need it, you can take it out and put it in. I usually use a repurposed squeezable mustard jar or something like that. Squeezes out pretty good. Of course, I'll label what it is on there and the date that it was made. so somebody doesn't actually grab it and think it's barbecue sauce or something like that, because it does look a lot like barbecue sauce. All right, just thick enough to where it'll stay on your stuff, but not so thick that you have to spread it on or anything. Okay, sorry for being right-handed and kind of blocking the camera with that. That all goes down in there. Put that lid on it, and we're done. There is our mild Taco Bell sauce. And be sure and refrigerate that too. Okay, so there is our mild Taco Bell sauce. You have it. It's been, what, maybe an hour ago when I started this, and I've already done a different recipe in the meantime, so you'll get that one in a future video too. But hope you enjoyed this. Share it with people. It's a good gift to pass on to somebody. Inexpensive to make, so inexpensive to make. So I hope you enjoyed this. I look forward to seeing you next time, sharing something else with you. Thanks for watching.